Welcome back. Let's now focus on creating our matcher. And because we will be manipulating matcher, we are required to activate this. Notice we are seeing the silhouette of our base. A good practice is to isolate our active component, removing base from our canvas. So heading to matcher, I'm going to right click once more for you to see. I'm going to right click here, moving down and selecting isolate. Let's now enter sketch mode. I'm going to hit R to grab our rectangle, select our XZ plane, head to feature options on the rectangle. Let's change this to center rectangle. Drop our center point at the origin. So repeating the procedure, keying in 100, hitting tab, keying in 150, hitting enter, grabbing our circle. Let's place our circle here. Diameter to be 30. Let's select our origin, holding control and left click to select the center point of our circle. What I am showing you here is a new technique, which is instead of heading up to grab our constraints, is simply selecting entities. So here we have selected our origin and the center point. With both items selected, I can right click, and from here Fusion 360 will suggest the possible constraints. And for this instance, our target is to have both of these items to be aligned horizontally. Hitting D for dimension, let's dimension this vertical line and our center point. Place our dimension here, key in 37.5, hitting enter. In addition, let's create our rectangle here, hitting R. Let me create our rectangle starting on this first corner. So let's key in 50, hit tab, 50 once more, hitting enter. Grabbing our coincident constraint, holding shift and locating our midpoint, heading to our right vertical line, holding shift and locating its midpoint, left click. And from here, I can now hit E for extrude and select this profile. Changing the direction to symmetric, so one of our best practice. For measurement, changing this to whole length and the thickness once more to be 30. Operation U body and hit OK. Let's grab our fillet and select this edges. Selecting this edge. For the radius, keying in 5, hitting OK. So creating another or grabbing all of the edges by creating a window selection. Hit F, key in 1, and finally hit OK. So here, we're now done with our second component. Our next focus would be our pin. So let's now activate this. In addition, let's isolate our pin. So with our pin selected, I can right click, move down and select isolate. And finally, for our pin, it's simply hitting C. To grab our circle, let's sketch on our XZ plane, drop our center point at the origin, diameter to be 30. Hit E for extrude, selecting this profile. Direction to be symmetric. And for our total length, I'm going to key in 60. Operation U body and hit OK. And finally, let's grab our fillet, hitting F, creating a window selection to select all edges. For the radius, keying in 1, selecting OK. With our components complete, let's head to our main file and activate this. In addition, let's reveal our components. So heading once more to our main file, right-click and select Show All Components. With our components in place, join me in the next lesson as we finally assemble our components together with joints. This video is sponsored by MSI Workstations. The best laptop for Fusion 360, CAD, and 3D modeling is MSI Workstation.